Please, GST we were discussing yesterday, and we discussed about the way to calculate it. Okay, so the handout of fiscal policy, all the 3 handouts, has been uploaded. You can check it today. Okay, regarding the GST and the 2 handout about the fiscal policy. Okay, देख लीजिएगा एक बार पढ़ लीजिएगा. Very relevant from examination point of view. Okay, so you just need to write about the GST now. Fastly, बोलिए.
In security transaction tax, you said that 50% is levied on buyer and 50% on seller. Who is seller in this case?
The one who is selling the shares.
Who is selling actually?
In the share market, the one who is selling the shares.
It is applicable on government security also.
When it comes to the bonds, no. Only on the government security, you're talking about the bond or the government bond? No.
Mutual fund.
No. Mutual fund, it will be applicable.
So it is direct tax or indirect tax?
Sir, the one who is buying it, if he is paying, it's a direct only.
But no 50% levied on the seller side. So how it is direct? Because
सर आपने बेचे, मैंने खरीदे, दोनों ने पे किए.
sir, अभी तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि how it is direct?
क्योंकि जो खरीद रहा है वही तो पे कर रहा है.
50% जो बेच रहा है वो भी तो पे कर रहा है.
तो क्या दिक्कत है सर? दोनों आप भी तो मार्केट में ट्रेड कर रहे हैं ना, तो मार्केट में जो ट्रेड करेगा वो तो टैक्स पे ही करेगा ना. मार्केट में ट्रेडिंग करते हैं तो बाइंग सेलिंग दोनों ही करते हैं आप. ये थोड़ी केवल आप बाइंग करते हैं. अगर आप सेल करेंगे तब भी तो आप मार्केट में ट्रांजेक्शन्स कर रहे हैं, तो टैक्स तो देना है उस पर. तो सर दोनों को, अगर मैं आपसे ये बोलूं इट इज 0.05% और बायर 0.05% और सर देन इट इज फाइन. हाँ बताइए. अगर आपसे मैं ये स्टेटमेंट कहूँ कि इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस आई एम सेइंग इट इज 0.05% बायर 0.05% सेलर, तो भी 50-50 देना पड़ेगा. So on one transaction you need to pay this much, and the transaction is taking place between the buyer and seller, so it need to be shared equally because both are part of the transaction. Indirect तो तब होता ना जब आपने और मैंने खरीदने होते ये पे कर रहे होते, तब कहते हैं इनडायरेक्ट है. हाँ जी बोलिए.
In minimum alternate tax,
टैक्स
it is applicable on charitable activities also.
charitable activities. Such charitable are, no, it is applied on the companies, and for individual it is AMT. There is one thing called AMT, alternative minimum tax. They also need to pay for companies.
If we talk about HTT, it is applicable on SEBI also.
Sorry,
SEBI, Security and Exchange Board.
सर सेबी मार्केट में ट्रेड थोड़ी करता है. सेबी इज द एक्सचेंज, सेबी इज द बॉडी दैट इज बीइंग रेगुलेटिंग द स्टॉक मार्केट्स. यस, सेबी मार्केट में बायर सेलर नहीं होता है. सेबी मार्केट में जैसा आरबीआई रेगुलेट करता है चीज़ों को, वैसे ही वो स्टॉक मार्केट रेगुलेट करता है. लिख लिए जीएसटी. लिखिए जीएसटी इज द प्रपोज्ड GST is the proposed unified indirect tax system. GST is the proposed unified indirect tax system subsuming the subsuming the large number of central and state taxes on goods and services. Full stop. GST differs from the present tax system. GST differs from the present tax system for goods and services in the following ways. First point, the indirect tax system is currently mired in, M-I-R-E-D, mired means सुलझा हुआ, mired in multi-layer taxes. layered taxes levied by center and state governments. Center and state governments at different stages of supply chain such as excise duty, octroi, OCTROI, central sales tax, VAT, among others. First up in GST, all these will be subsumed. In GST, all these will be subsumed, SUMED, subsumed under a single regime. Second point, through GST, the center and states. Next point, through GST, the center and states will tax goods and services in identical rates. RATES rates, and the proceeds will be shared. On the basis of fixed formula. First up, this will improve the tax administration. Next point, GST will have three components. First one, central GST, state GST and IGST. Central GST, state GST and integrated GST. First stop, CGST and IGST will be levied by the center. While SGST will be levied by the states. Full stop. IGST would be levied on interstate supply of goods and services. IGST would be applied or levied, LEVIED, levied on interstate supply of goods or services. Full stop. This tax will be levied by the center and the requisite payments will be made to the states. Not states, you can write state. Will be made to the state in which the goods or services are consumed. Full stop. Import of goods or services would be treated as interstate supplies and would be subjected to IGST. Okay, now you can write the benefits of GST. You can write as per the estimates by benefits. You can write as per the estimates by the National Council of Applied Economic Research. National Council of Applied Economic Research as per the estimates by the National Council of Applied Economic Research. Applied. The implementation of GST can enhance India's GDP by 0.9 to 1.7%, comma, as the current system of multiple taxes was leading to distortion in allocation of resources as well as production inefficiencies. Next point. GST will remove the cascading effect GST will remove the cascading or double taxation effect since cascading 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 effect since currently both state VAT and Sen VAT सेंट्रल वेट कल बताया तो था आप लोगों को सेनवेट CENVAT सेनवेट are levied on goods at point of sale and production stages respectively. Full stop. GST will be destination based. That is, the tax will be levied on the basis of place of consumption, not production. Full stop. Next point. Businesses that produces क्या हुआ? Businesses लिखिए. Businesses that produces their products in one state. Businesses that produces their products in one state and sell in another end up paying end up paying a number of taxes, comma, which in turn increase the cost of final product for the consumer, which in turn increase the cost of final product for the consumer. Full stop. GST will eliminate this. GST will eliminate this and reduce the end cost of a product. End cost of a product. Okay, next point. The present indirect system of taxes suffers from many infirmities. 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 Infirmities, comma, mainly exemptions. Mainly exemption. Infirmities का मतलब होता है illness, some kind of problems. First stop, through a uniform and transparent tax structure, comma, GST aims to improve aims to improve tax compliance. And last point, under the GST structure, every company gets a deduction. On the taxes already paid. By its suppliers. Full stop. That results in every buyer ensuring that a supplier has paid his part to claim his deduction. Okay, that is about the benefit. Now, in very brief, the current obstacles. These obstacles will be eliminated one by one, as the GST Council will start discussing on these matters. Like one of the obstacle earlier was fixing up the rates. Now this has been done. Okay, so you can write for GST, the CGST, comma, the CGST and IGST laws have to be passed in Parliament. So, just passing the amendment bill is not enough. You also need to provide a comprehensive framework that how the GST will work. Yeah, okay, have to be passed in the Parliament. First off, each state has to pass the SGST law, followed by the notification of the GST rules. Okay, next point. There is still no clarity, there is still no clarity in the GST bill, about who the tax collection authority will be. About who the tax collection authority will be for the GST. Who the tax collection authority will be for GST, comma, whether it will be the banks, or some other body authorized by the government. Okay, next point. Full stop. Next point. There are other issues also. Which GST Council have to work out. Comma, such as the manner in which the IGST will be shared. Okay, next point. Once the rates are notified, for various goods and services, comma, companies will have to adopt themselves. Comma, let's say one manufacturer in Maharashtra, and sells all over the country, Full stop. Now such companies will have to register themselves in every state where consumption is happening. Comma, since GST is a consumption-based tax. And last point, there are also issues to do with place of supply rules for services. Because for services it is not clear as of yet, comma, which will likely take some time. Okay, so that is about the GST. The remaining thing that you can simply refer from the handout, and you can try to, everything is being discussed, so it will be very easier for you to understand that thing. Now give heading next. Yes. लिखना है वो आपको. No need. Now next is expenditure of the government of India. expenditures of the government of India. देखिए, in case of the expenditures of the government of India, like imagine, as you know, that we are having one thing currently that is called 5-year plan, and the 12th 5-year plan is going on, ended in 2017. Okay, so imagine there is a one road project, okay, that was planned by government in 2011-12 when they were making the 5-year plan. Okay, and as per the calculation of the planning commission with the central government and with the help of state government also, because you know that highways are made in states only. Okay, so what they thought and what they decided, that as per the calculation, this road will be completed in 5 years or less than that. Okay, so what they will do, if the project is taking 5 years or less than that, they will simply mention this thing in 5-year plan document. Imagine the total money provided for this project is 5,000 crore. What they have done, they mentioned simply in the 5-year plan. On the other hand, in the same year, they were planning for one more project, road project, let's suppose from Delhi to Bangalore. But they calculated that it is going to take more than 5 years, let's suppose 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, 9, 10, whatever years. So they're thinking that it is going to take more than, 5 years to complete that particular project. Okay. So in this case, what they will do, they will not mention this project that is going to take more than 5 years in this 5-year plan document. Okay. Now imagine that this particular project that is going to take more than 5 years, the total investment is required 10,000 crore, and duration is how much? 8 years. Imagine in this way. So what I will do, let's suppose in the budget of now 17-18, what I will do, as this is the last year, okay, of this project, or not 17-18, it is 16-17 last year. As the 17 is the last year of this particular 5-year plan. So suppose almost the work has been done, certain work has been left. So what I will do, in this year I will provide, let's suppose, last 500 crore rupees for this project. Okay. And this project that is going to take 8 years. So you can say still 2-3 years are being left. So what I did, in this year I mentioned that for this particular road project I am providing 1,000 crore rupees in 16-17. Okay. So in this case, this 500 that was mentioned in the 5-year plan will be known as planned expenditure. Okay. And the one that I have not mentioned in the 5-year plan and that is outside the 5-year plan, it is known as non-planned. So when I will make the budget of 16-17, I will provide 500 crore rupees as a part of planned expenditure and 1,000 crore rupees as a part of non-planned expenditure. Okay. In the budget of 16-17, Government of India has decided to spend 5.5 lakh crore rupees for planned expenditure, 14.28 lakh crore for non-planned expenditure. Okay. So you can say whatever I am spending in the planned expenditure is productive expenditure in my economy, leading to what? Development. Because I am making roads, dams, highways, you can say, nuclear power project, whatever it is. In case of non-planned, the one that I mentioned just now is basically what? It's a developmental, because leading to what? Development in the economy, but arising outside the planning. Because ma'am, we cannot plan this thing for 5 years. As I said, whenever any project that is going to take more than 5 years, I'm simply taking outside the plan and I'm providing money only in the annual budget. Okay. So in case of this, the first is this one. The second expenditure that will be part of non-planned is basically, if you remember, in revenue account, we had two expenditure. Developmental, non-developmental. Development is what?
maintenance of assets. What is non-developmental? Subsidies, interest payment and the other. So the second expenditure non-planned will be developmental of the revenue account, and third one non-developmental of the revenue account. So these three will comprise what? The non-planned expenditure of the economy. So you can say out of these three, the first two, this one for the new project and this one for the maintenance of asset, is basically, you can say, development expenditure of non-planned expenditure. Okay? And the third one is basically non-development. Normally, you know what happened? 2/3, sometime even 3/4 of this total amount belongs to only third one. Which one? The non-developmental, like subsidies, interest payment, okay, defense, then you can say law and order, civil administration, subsidies, these kind of things will come under the third one. Okay? So if I am saying that my government is having huge amount of fiscal deficit and I need to control my fiscal deficit, then tell me, out of these four, that is one is planned and three is non-planned, which expenditure supposed to be controlled by the government? Non-planned. And which one non-planned? The non-developmental one. But as you know, in the non-developmental, I am having subsidies, interest payment, defense. These are the three highest expenditure. Can I reduce these three things? Because subsidies, if you will reduce, you can try to rationalize the subsidy. You can make it efficient. But if you reduce it, what will happen? It is going to hurt the vote bank of the government. Politics is what? It's kind of one of the utmost important, you can say, of the government, ruling party. Defense, when you have a neighbor like China and Pakistan, which are so friendly to us, is it possible that we'll reduce our defense budget? No. And when you know the interest payment, पुराने पापे धोने तो पड़ेंगे. Whatever loan we have taken in the past, we have to pay interest for that. अगर नहीं करेंगे तो क्या कहलाएंगे? Defaulter? Yes or no? So reducing expenditures is kind of very tough. तो point ये आता है how to take care the deficits of the economy and how to reduce it. Okay. In 2003-04, Government of India provided FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. They said by 8-9 we'll reduce our revenue deficit to almost zero and fiscal deficit to less than 3%. Now, in 4-5 government changed, UPA came into power. UPA also adhere to these targets. Now what happened? To take care, these expenditure, Government of India said that we need to have one commission in the name of Expenditure Management Commission. And they said they will provide certain ways by which the expenditures of the economy, you can say government, can be reduced. So what they did, they provided a comprehensive report. And the copy of that report was sent to each and every department and ministry of the Government of India, that you need to take these measures by which the expenditures of the government can be reduced. Like for example, one of the recommendation was not very tough. It was all simple. Like they said, the ministries and departments are not supposed to do the unnecessary expenditure. For example, they said no new cars will be purchased by any ministry or department. Because buying this car, like Ambassador, 10 lakh rupees worth of car, 9 to 10 lakh rupees. Then when you buy an Ambassador, you need to hire a driver. You need to do the fuel expenditure. You need to provide, maintenance of that. That leads to a lot of expenditure on the part of government. And you know that when it comes to using fuel, there's a huge corruption in that. The minister or bureaucrat is using car just for the sake of going from home to the ministry. That hardly use 3-4 liters of fuel. But the entire fuel tank will gone. 40-50 liters. They are simply selling in the open market. And they're earning a lot of money. Who? The driver. 2 or 3 years back, there was one raid done by the income tax department at a house of driver to one of the minister. They got 70 lakh rupees in cash. Imagine. So when the driver is having this much, how much the other people can have, imagine. Okay. So they said, do not buy car. Just simply stop it. Okay. Like, I'll tell you, when you become IAS and when you go for training, or IPS, when you go for training, you'll have a district training also. Like suppose if you're getting this, Egmont cadre, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, Mizoram and UTs. Okay. So suppose you are being part of Delhi for your district training. So when you come to Delhi, you will not get any kind of car having Lal Batti like Ambassador or any other car. You will simply be provided one Centro or Wagoner car, hired by Government of India on a kilometer basis, on a daily basis. If you've been using the car for 30 kilometer, the Government of India will pay to that company only how much? 300 rupees. But if they will buy car, then you can imagine how much money they need to spend. Because when you become IAS, you're not going to drive a car of your own. You will say, sir, driver चाहिए, driver चलाएगा. Yes or no? वो अलग बात है, कभी आपका मन करेगा तो आप गाड़ी चला लेंगे, अगर किसी को ड्राइविंग का शौक है, that's a different thing. But simply you will get a driver. They said, do not buy a car, reduce expenditure. Buy only when there is a need for ministers and the other senior bureaucrats. Do not buy a car for each and every person. Okay? Like that one was the recommendation. They also said, if you're being flying, like any minister or the senior bureaucrat is flying to any particular destination. So what they were earlier doing, they were hiring a charter plane. Like suppose if you're going to Amritsar from Delhi, the cost of a charter plane is around 5 lakh rupees today. Just for 30-minute flight. Imagine. But if you are buying a business class ticket to Amritsar, it is hardly 20,000 rupees. You can save a lot of money. Okay? So, because this entire money is going from where? From the taxpayers' money. That is increasing the expenditure. So they said, follow these things. Do proprietary measures by which the unnecessary expenditure can be weeded out. And government started doing that. But what happened, in 2007-8 and 6-7, certain things have to be faced by the government. Because of that, expenditure increased. Like in 9, elections was coming. What Government of India did in 8-9, sorry. They did the loan waivers of farmers of 66,000 crore rupees. Expenditure increased. One of the scheme launched by Government of India in the name of MG Narega, crores of rupees was spent on that. Having no production, just an unnecessary expenditure. Because you're not doing any kind of productive work in the MG Narega. Okay? Third, they also spend a lot of money because of the crisis faced by USA. Because we were receiving a lot of FDI from there. Once they faced crisis, investment was reduced. And just to maintain the pace of development in the economy, you have to spend a lot of money. And the fourth problem that we faced was the increase in crude oil prices. For that, the Government of India has to increase the subsidy amount on petrol and diesel because both were subsidized that time. And because of that, expenditure again increased. Like if I'll tell you, in 2005-6, the total oil subsidy given by Government of India was only in the range of 2,000 crore. But within 4 or 5 years, it increased to the level of 50,000 crore rupees. Such a huge amount of jump was there. Okay? So, because of these kind of shocks, we were not able to maintain or achieve the targets of FRBM Act. Okay? So, it was not met. Now, what the Government of India is providing, they are providing a thing called fiscal consolidation measures for medium term. Like as per the budget of 16-17, they said the FD has to be 3.5%. And next year, 17-18, the target for fiscal deficit will be how much? 3%. So we're not providing target for 5 or 10 years. 2-3 years targets are being provided. Okay? And again, the Government of India provided an Expenditure Management Commission in 14-15 under the chairmanship of Dr. Bimal Jalan. But they were supposed to submit the report of expenditure management before 16-17 budget. But still that report has not been submitted. They submitted a thing called interim report. But that interim report was never made public by Government of India. Okay? So thing is, if you want to take care of these kind of issues, you need to do certain measures. Like last year, our target was 4%, but the deficit was only 3.9%. Why we are able to achieve this 4% target? Because last year, first of all, subsidy burden on the oil was reduced because of the decrease in the price of crude oil. Second thing, we did the spectrum sale, huge money received. We did the coal block auction, huge money received. We did the disinvestment in certain companies, again money received. So by way of that, what happened? We were able to meet our targets. Okay, because there are two ways to achieve targets in fiscal deficit. Either you increase your revenue or secondly reduce your expenditure. So last year it was because of increased revenue that we were able to achieve that thing. Because if I'll tell you, almost 99% of the deficit we already did in the third quarter of 15-16. It's just that we are able to get good money, we are able to achieve our target. Now for 17-18 budget, there will be no planned and non-planned expenditure. The entire distinction will be eliminated because this planned expenditure funda was given by Planning Commission and now there is no Planning Commission. So from next year, you will only get a bifurcation in the name of revenue account and capital account, that's all. There's nothing like planned and non-planned. And we will issue a document called Vision Document for the Economy that will be for 15 years. I think it is going to create some sort of issue. Why? If there is a change in government, then the new government will have the different philosophy to work. Maybe they will not follow in totality the thing given by the earlier government, or they were having a different way to do things. Okay? So, let's see what kind of things will turn out in the next year budget and moreover when it comes to the 19 election. Because हो सकता है 19 के इलेक्शन तक आप लोग IAS बन चुके हो. पॉसिबिलिटी है या नहीं है? बिल्कुल पॉसिबिलिटी है. अभी तो 16 चल रहा है, 17 में आप पेपर देंगे, 18 में सिलेक्शन हो जाएगा आप लोगों का. सोचिए कितना अच्छा लगता है सोच के ही. तो अगर आप ढंग से तैयारी करेंगे, पढ़ाई करेंगे, तो क्या होगा? 18 में सारी टेंशन खत्म. ठीक है? फिर आप क्या कर रहे होंगे? मौज नहीं कर रहे होंगे सर, काम करेंगे, फिर ट्रेनिंग पे जाएंगे, लड़का लड़की ढूंढेगा, लड़की लड़का ढूंढेगी. ठीक है? आगे बढ़ने के लिए और क्या. ठीक है? There is a high demand of girls in academy. Why? Because if you have 150 batch of IAS officer, you will find 15-20 girls over there. So they are in high demand. Okay? समझ में आया या नहीं आया? दूसरे वाला नहीं, पहले वाला एक्सपेंडिचर वाला. हेलो, अब ठीक है? चलिए लिखिए. लिखने की जरूरत है? ये है, लिखिए फटाफट. मैंने शायद इंटेलिजेंट ना लिखना पड़े. लिखिए. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर is of two types. Viz, VIZ Viz, planned expenditure in bracket rupees 5.5 lakh crore. 5.5 lakh crore in 2016-17. 5.5 lakh crore in 16-17 bracket close, and non-planned expenditure in bracket rupees 14.28 lakh crore in 16-17. 14.28 lakh crore in 16-17. Very close, full stop. The next line, planned expenditure is an expenditure. Planned expenditure is an expenditure for which a provision is made, in 5-year plan document. in 5-year plan document as these expenditures are by and large expenditure on fresh investment. हाँ जी सर. By and large expenditure on fresh investment on various projects. Fresh मतलब एकदम fresh. Okay. Fresh investment on various projects which government plans for 5-year period. 5-year period. First of hence these expenditures are productive expenditure. Okay, in the next line, on the other hand, common non-planned expenditure is expenditure for which no provision can be made for a 5-year plan period. As most of these expenditures are uncertain, volatile and contingent. Uncertain, volatile and contingent, and cannot be predicted for a 5-year plan period. Cannot be predicted for 5-year plan period. Full stop. Hence, provision for these expenditures are made only in the annual budget. Full stop. Non-planned expenditure thus arises outside to the plan. And is of following three types. लिखिए प्रथम बिंदु, first point. You can write expenditure on, first point you can write expenditure on projects and services that cannot be completed in a 5-year period. 5-year period, comma, so that they are shifted to non-planned expenditure. Second one, you can simply write just one line. Developmental expenditure of revenue account. याद है या लिखवाऊं, बताइए. You remember maintenance of assets, developmental expenditure of the revenue account. Okay, in the next line, it's not a point, clear में लिखिए. Both 1 and 2 are developmental expenditure of the non-planned expenditure. And third point you can write non-development expenditure of the revenue account. Non-developmental expenditure of the revenue account like subsidy, interest payment, etc. Subsidy, interest payment, etc. यस सर, अभी लिखवाऊंगा वो भी. सॉरी, हाँ सर, नॉन डेवलपमेंट में आती है. हाँ जी सर, उससे डेवलपमेंट क्या हो रही है देश की? उससे तो आप किसी को कैश में, नॉन कैश आइटम में कुछ प्रोवाइड करो, उससे सब चीज़ें सस्ती बनाई जा सके. अगर आपको नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट के अंदर गवर्नमेंट 3 रुपए किलो पे चावल दे रही है, उससे क्या डेवलपमेंट हो रही है? देश की डेवलपमेंट हो रही है? ये तो आपकी अपनी डेवलपमेंट हो रही है. ओके, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट लिखिए इन द नेक्स्ट लाइन. इन फैक्ट expenditure on item number 3, expenditure on item number 3, do not take item in a literal way. Item number 3 may account for more than 3/4 of the total non-planned expenditure and therefore it is considered as a major culprit in the government finance and calls for CALLS, कॉल करते हैं ना आप लोग, calls for an urgent step urgent मतलब तुरंत, urgent step to reduce and rationalize okay, first stop. However, reduction of such expenditure reduction of such expenditures is ridden with political compulsions, and hence it acts as a major drag. What is drag? खिंचाव. Major drag in the government finance. अगली लाइन में लिखिए, ब्रैकेट में लिखिए अगली लाइन में, this bifurcation of planned and non-planned, और distinction जो भी आपको ठीक लगे, of planned and non-planned expenditure is to be done away with from 17-18 budget. What budget? 17-18 budget. Okay. Last point in the next line. On 4th September, यानी कि 4 सितंबर, on 4th September 2014, Government of India proposed करती है, Government of India proposed to establish an expenditure management commission Expenditure Management Commission under Dr. Bimal, Bimal, not Bimal, Bimal Jalan, JLAN, Bimal Jalan, to review, हमारे पुराने RBI के गवर्नर हैं, review the major areas, to review the major areas of central government expenditure, comma, FRBM rules, comma, budgeting process, comma, aggregate fiscal discipline, comma, and to suggest improvements in expenditure pattern. Okay, full stop in the next line. Improvements in expenditure pattern. Okay, in the next line. The committee has submitted its interim report to the Government of India, in bracket, but it was not made public, very close, and will submit the final report, not will लिखिए, and was supposed to submit the final report before 16-17 budget. But it was not submitted. बताइए क्लियर है या नहीं है? Now, I'll tell you 3 terms, okay, जो आप अपने हिसाब से लिखिएगा. I'm just trying to explain you what is the meaning of this particular things. First of all, what is the difference between budget and budgeting? Basically, budget is a document providing information about certain projects. And budgeting means the way to do that particular thing. That how you're going to, do the things. How you're going to arrange the things. It's a kind of a process. And that is a kind of a final thing. Okay. Normally, the budgeting means, like suppose in 13-14, 14-15, 15-16, and now you're having 16-17, and then next you have 17-18. Okay. Suppose in this year, I constructed a building. The total cost I incurred was 100 crore rupees. The same time of building, I need to construct in 17-18 now. So what I will do, I'll simply see how much inflation was there in these 3 years. Suppose 10% inflation, 15% inflation, and then let's suppose 5% inflation. So in total how much? 15, 5, 20, 30% inflation. So I'll simply say, sir, I need 130 crore rupees to construct the same building because the total inflation in the last 3 years, how much? 30%. That is called what? Budgeting. Okay, that how I'm budgeting in this way. Okay. So Government of India is using a different way of budgeting for different ministries. Like one of the way of budgeting is called outcome budgeting. Outcome budgeting like simply means, like imagine In Rajendra Nagar area, suppose there is no hospital. Okay. And because of that, the rate of IMR, MMR, the deaths because of various diseases like, the malaria, dengue, the different things is kind of high. If I will construct a hospital in Rajendra Nagar area, what kind of outcome I can expect out of this? That the health condition of the people will improve. Suppose I made this hospital in 13-14 for how much? 100 crore. Hospital is working now. Okay. In 17-18 budget, I again demanded कि sir, I need 130 crore rupees to construct one more hospital in, let's suppose, Karol Bagh area, because that is also not having any hospital and the people are suffering. Okay. So here what the government will say to me is, sir, first of all, tell me what kind of outcomes you are able to get by constructing a hospital in the Rajendra Nagar area. Whether the rate of IMR, MMR, death because of this malaria, dengue, and the other disease has been reduced or not. Because if the hospital is there, obviously the health indicators should improve. Yes or no? Like suppose if you're constructing a school in one area where the illiteracy rate was very high. So what kind of outcome you can expect? The literacy will be there. So when you will ask money, in case of outcome budgeting, you need to show first of all the outcome that you achieved by way of your earlier projects. So that way of budgeting is known as outcome budgeting. Is it fine or not? So this kind of budgeting is being utilized, or you can say used, by central government in various ministries, like Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, these kind of things. Is it clear or not? Any doubt? No. हाँ या ना, कुछ तो बोलो भाई, समझ में आया? ठीक है. The second type of budgeting that we are using is called zero-based budgeting. देखिए, inflation as an index is providing information about increase in prices of only few goods and services, not all the thing. Like when we discuss about the WPI in your class, wholesale price index, it is having only 676 commodities. In case of CPI, 200 goods and services. Okay. So basically, it is not covering everything. So in inflation index, I am having things like food articles also, like beverages also. So let's suppose in terms of construction of a building, am I using any kind of food item in that? No, I'm using what? Steel, cement, bricks, and the other thing. So inflation index is not providing us accurate information about the rise in prices or decrease in prices. So what government is saying in the zero-based budgeting is, sir, do not take anything as a base or benchmark. Go to the market. Collect fresh prices for everything. That what is the current prices of everything in the market. And then provide a new estimate. So it may be possible that yesterday I was demanding 130 crore. But when I collected the prices from market on a fresh note, it may possible that now I need 150 crore rupees because the prices of the various things that I'm going to use in my building will be very high. Yes or no? Or it may be possible the things which I'm going to use in the construction of my building is kind of low now. I'll use, or you can say, require 90 crore, 85 crore rupees only. So the money will be allocated properly if you have a budgeting called zero-based budgeting. So every time when you make a requirement or demanding money, you need to provide everything from scratch. Do not take anything as a base. Getting my point or not? That is called zero-based budgeting. And there's a one thing called gender budgeting. Like you have a question about gender budgeting this year in your mains, paper 3. Now, gender budgeting is basically about making policies and programs in such a way that you are able to provide some sort of benefit to the sensitive gender in the society. If you think that woman is not empowered, then provide certain specific components in each and every program reserved for women. Like, gender busting was initiated by Australia in 1984 and it was adopted by India in 90 to 93 by providing 73rd and 74th Amendment Act by reserving 1/3 of the seats in panchayat and municipalities. Getting my point or not? So this is how you are creating what? Gender budgeting. Whatever gender is being sensitive, it could be male or female. So if it is female, reserve component for them. If it is male, reserve component for them. Now don't talk about the transgenders, okay? Because in the earlier class, one of the students said, so what about transgenders? We're also having third, gender also. Okay? So this is called, like in case of MG Narega also, 1/3 of the seats have been reserved for whom? For women. Yes or no? That you have to provide employment to women also, if she will demand. So that is called a thing called gender budgeting. Tell me, any doubt in any of the three budgeting that we are having in our economy? जी सर. फिजिकल डिसेबल. देखिए डिसेबिलिटी जो है उसके लिए हमारी गवर्नमेंट अलग अलग पॉलिसीज है. हम देखिए डिसेबल के लिए भी आप देखिए तो हमारे हर गवर्नमेंट जॉब के अंदर where they can work, we are having quota for the physically handicapped candidate also. That is also part of this thing. But you cannot say it's a part of separate gender. That is a policy to take care certain people who are being, you can say, are being suffering from some kind of infirmities. You can say illness. उनके लिए अलग है. जी सर बोलिए लास्ट में क्या पूछ रहे हैं? सर जो भी आप पॉलिसी जैसे मान लीजिए आज आपको घर बनाना है तो घर बनाने के लिए आप एस्टिमेट कैसे लगाएंगे कितना पैसा चाहिए? आप मार्केट जाके हर जगह से प्राइसेस पूछेंगे कि इतना सामान लगाना है, इतनी लेबर की कॉस्ट है, इतनी इन चीजों की कॉस्ट है, उसके बेसिस पर आप एस्टिमेट करेंगे. तो फ्रेश बनाइए हर बजट. कुछ भी बेस लेके मत बनाइए. ये मत सोचिए अगर 4 साल पहले मैंने घर बनाया तो मेरे 50 लाख खर्च हुए थे तो अब मेरे 1 करोड़ खर्च हो जाएंगे बिकॉज प्राइसेस डबल हो गए हैं. डबल सब चीजों में नहीं हुए होंगे. इन सर्टेन थिंग इट मे बी डबल और समथिंग इट मे बी काइंड ऑफ सेम स्टिल. सो यू नीड टू डू एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम फ्रेश स्क्रैच. ये मतलब है. बताइए एनी काइंड ऑफ शंका पूछ लीजिए. कोई दिक्कत है तो. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, यही है. हाँ सर. सर इन्फ्लेशन को देख ही नहीं रहे हम यहाँ पे. अगर आप उसमें 150 करोड़ भी मांग रहे हैं ना उनसे, वो कहेंगे ठीक है सर दे दी जाएंगे आपको, वो अलग चीज है. बट पॉइंट है आउटकम दिखा दीजिए हमें कि आपने जो पैसा लिया है उसको यूटिलाइज आपने किया है या नहीं किया. ये कहने का मतलब है. वहां पे मनी कंसर्न नहीं है हमारा ज्यादा, वहां कंसर्न है हमारा आउटकम से कि करप्शन तो नहीं किया. हॉस्पिटल की जगह ऐसी कई बिल्डिंग बना के तो नहीं छोड़ दिया आपने, या फिर हॉस्पिटल बनाया नहीं या पेपर पे हॉस्पिटल बन गया. होता है हमारे देश में, ये सब भी होता है कि हॉस्पिटल बना नहीं है, पैसे खर्च हो गए, सारे लोग खा गए पैसा. बहुत होता है ऐसा. क्लियर है एकदम? लिखने की जरूरत तो है नहीं, समझ में आ गया आप लोगों को? मैं तो पूछ रहा हूं आपसे. मैंने पहले ही बोला था राइट इन योर लैंग्वेज, मतलब द वे यू आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड इट. ओके वो ठीक है. नेक्स्ट. पक्का ना बढ़ जाए. कोई एक बोलिए जो लिखवाना हो तीनों में से, जो आपको लगता है दैट शुड बी लिख लीजिए. जेंडर तो सिंपल है यार. लिखिए जेंडर बेस्ड नो सॉरी जीरो बेस्ड बस्टिंग. You can write, it was advocated by Peter, not cheater. It was advocated by Peter Fires. P-H-Y-R-E-S. Peter Fires. First off, it implies that a government department / ministry prepare its budgetary demands prepare its budgetary demands and allocation under various heads each year under various heads, 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 each year, assuming that there was no budget, in the previous year, that is, the base was shunya, that is 0. The base was 0, comma, so that each head is allocated, expenditure from Ministry of Finance on the basis of its merit, 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 and from a scratch, स्क्रैच समझते ना, बिल्कुल स्टार्टिंग से, कॉमा, so that it turns out to be professional, comma, honest and unbiased. First of thus, it is expected that the unnecessary expenditure get weeded out. Weeded मतलब होता है उखाड़ फेंकना. WEED, weeded out, comma, while there may be higher allocation for justified and necessary things. जो जरूरी है उसके लिए दिया जाए, जो जरूरी नहीं है उसको छोड़ दिया जाए. सही है? क्लियर है? नाउ सर कोई भी बिल्डिंग का एग्जांपल ले लीजिए, हाईवे का एग्जांपल ले लीजिए. मिनिस्ट्री, हाईवे कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री के अंदर आता है? नाउ नेक्स्ट इज ways and means advances. Ways and means advances. What is this? Anyone? देखिए बहुत सिंपल है, टफ नहीं एकदम. देखिए, in case of any business, like in case of this institute also, we are having expenditures regularly. Yes or no? Every day we need to spend on things, maintenance of things, paying salaries, faculties, whatever it is. But revenues of the institute is not regular. Sometime we are having very good inflow of revenue. Sometime we are not having any admission, let's suppose, for 4 or 5 days. In this case, what happened? There is a less inflow. In that 3 or 4 days, imagine if we need to do a lot of expenditures because of certain things. Then what happened? A mismatch between revenue expenditure will happen. Is it possible or not? Like in case of government need to spend money daily, huge, but revenues irregular. So in case of business, profession, government, companies, whatever it is, you can say expenditures are regular, but revenues are not. So in this case, I need money for short duration to take care this temporary mismatch. I'm not saying it is going to be have mismatch for long duration. Long duration के लिए होगा तो हो सकता है bankruptcy हो जाए. Yes or no? So I am talking about the mismatch for only for long. So you can say very short duration. So here, RBI and Government of India sit together with what? Okay, whatever it is. And state governments also sit with RBI. Every state government separately. Okay. And they provide a kind of a estimate. Sir, in the upcoming year, I need this much amount of money as a loan from you for short duration to take care of the mismatch between my revenues and expenditure. Okay? Central, state both. They said, okay, sir, this much money you need, I'll provide you. Okay? Like currently, for the year 16-17, for the first half of 16-17, the total money provided by RBI to central government for short duration under this scheme was 50,000 crore. And for the next half, that is from October to March, 25,000 crore. Okay, this much money they said. Okay, they said, okay, sir, I'll provide you. But RBI is saying, sir, if this is a loan from my side, I will charge interest. They said, sir, how much interest? Repo rate. Okay. Now, in case when the central government is borrowing, the rate of interest will be repo rate. And for how many days you are borrowing? 10 consecutive working days. Okay. In case of state government, as per the new schemes provided by last year government by the RBI, a state government can borrow for 90 days now. That is the revised guidelines. Okay. Now, this money is for how many months? 6 months. Divided by 2, you will get 25,000 crore rupees in 1 quarter. Okay. You will borrow 10 days, pay back. Borrow, interest, pay back with interest. Okay. In case if Government of India needs more money, like more than 25,000 in a quarter, then in this case they can take more money under a facility called overdraft facility. But they need to pay extra interest, repo rate plus 1 or 2% whatever is being fixed. Extra you need to pay. Okay. Moreover, as soon as 75% of the amount is being borrowed by Government of India from RBI in this facility, they will simply caution them. Yes, sir, you already borrowed 75%. Now I need to arrange money from you by way of market loans. Okay. So they were simply providing us some sort of indication. He said, take care of your spending. You already borrowed a lot of money. Okay. When they will reach to a level of how much? So it's not like they will stop it. They will keep on providing. But they will simply tell them, sir, this much you have borrowed. Take care of your spending. Okay. So here they will simply provide what? The money for short duration. If you're borrowing more than 25,000 crore in the first quarter, then you need to pay a thing called overdraft, and the rate of interest will be currently repo rate plus 2% extra you need to pay. Because now you're borrowing more than the requirement you earlier provided. Okay. So in case of this, central government will work like that. In case of state government, they can borrow for 90 days. Imagine they borrowed money. Okay. They take care the entire obligations. Whatever they were provided, they borrowed. Now they need more money. What they will do in this case? They will pledge their investment document who the state government, like government security and all. Okay, and in this case, when they will pledge, that advance will known as special ways and means advances. Normally, when you're taking without pledge, that is called normal or clean advances. When you're taking extra, you need to provide what? Pledge. And when you provide a pledge, you'll get a discount in interest rate, repo rate, minus 1% you need to pay. So let's suppose if a state government wants to provide, loan by providing pledge, then they can do that and they can borrow at less interest rate. So it's up to the state government what way they want to follow, a normal one, or you can say a kind of a special one. If they will follow normal, they need to pay exactly repo rate. If they will follow special, they will need to provide what? They need to provide security. They'll get discount of 1%. Now, in case if the state government exhaust the entire limit, okay, and now they are taking what? Overdraft. Okay, in case of overdraft, they can borrow for 14 working days. जैसे मान लीजिए मेरे 9 महीने 90 days complete हुए. Okay, that I simply borrowed for 90 days. As soon as I will complete 90 days, if I need more money, what I'll do, I'll take under a thing called, what? Overdraft I'll take. Overdraft मुझे कितने दिन के लिए मिलेगा? 14 days के लिए. 14 days के अंदर आप ये मानिए मुझे अपना ओवरड्राफ्ट का पैसा I need to return it. If I will not return within 14 days, then what happened? RBI will stop providing me any money under the ways and means advances. Point समझ पा रहे नहीं पा रहे हैं? So different things are being there because earlier it was very simple. Now as per the revised guidelines, they provided so many things. जैसे मान लीजिए the total amount of money that you can borrow is 100 crore. Okay, 100 crore comes under what? Ways and means advances normally. आपने 100 crore borrow कर लिया क्वार्टर के अंदर. अभी आपको और चाहिए, आपने 100 crore और ले लिया. लिमिट कितनी थी? लिया कितना एक्स्ट्रा? इट इज इक्वल टू हाउ मच? 100%. ठीक है, अगर ये पैसा आपने जो बोरो किया, इफ यू कीप ऑन रिटर्निंग इट विद इन 14 days, नो इश्यूज, यू कैन इवन बोरो मोर. सो व्हेन यू विल बोरो अप टू 100% ऑफ योर वेज एंड मीन्स एडवांसेस लिमिट, द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट विल बी रेपो रेट प्लस 2% एक्स्ट्रा. इफ यू बोरोड इवन मोर देन दैट 100%, then the rate of interest will be repo rate plus 5% extra. करो बोरो, लो एक्स्ट्रा पैसा, कोई इशू नहीं है, विल प्रोवाइड यू. बट पॉइंट इज रिटर्न इट विद इन 14 days. बट इफ एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम व्हेन यू बोरोड अंडर ओवरड्राफ्ट, इफ यू नॉट रिटर्निंग योर मनी विद इन 14 days विद इंटरेस्ट, उसके बाद पैसा मिलना बंद. बट अगर आप रिटर्न करते, इफ यू कीप ऑन रिटर्निंग इट, यू कैन बोरो इवन मोर अमाउंट, बट जस्ट पे एक्स्ट्रा इंटरेस्ट. So that is a kind of arrangement is being done with whom? Is being done with the RBI, just to take care the temporary mismatch between the revenue and expenditure of central government as well as state government. ये point. और ये भी ध्यान रखिएगा, our central government need to maintain one account with the RBI. Every day, Government of India need to maintain a balance of 10 crore rupees in that account with RBI. On every Friday, they need to maintain a balance of 100 crore rupees. On every financial year closing date, 31st March, they need to maintain a balance of 100 crore. On every financial year closing of the RBI, that is 30th of June, they need to maintain a balance of 100 crore again. आपको कुछ बैलेंस मेंटेन करना होता है, एंड डेली बेसिस यू नीड टू मेंटेन हाउ मच? 10 crore. दैट्स ऑल. ये मतलब है. ठीक है, तो अगर आप बैलेंस मेंटेन नहीं करते हैं 100 crore का और आरबीआई से वेज एंड मींस एडवांसेस के अंदर पैसा मांगेंगे, देखेंगे सर भागो यहां से, नो मनी विल बी गिवन. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मेंटेन द बैलेंस. सो यू नीड टू हैव सर्टेन रूल्स यू नीड टू फॉलो. सर इकोनॉमिक्स इतनी बड़ी है ना, इतनी बड़ी है, You can't imagine. So many things are being there in this subject. पढ़ना शुरू करें तो आई थिंक 10 महीने तो इकोनॉमिक्स कवर करने में लग जाए. इतना सिलेबस होता है इकोनॉमिक्स का. इट्स वन ऑफ द वास्टेस्ट सब्जेक्ट यू कैन से. ओके, बट इट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. इकोनॉमिक्स में अगर आपको एक बार लॉजिक समझ में आने लग जाएंगे ना, तो आपको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगेगा सब्जेक्ट. बट अगर लॉजिक समझ में नहीं आएंगे तो आप दिमाग ही लगाते रहेंगे, यार ये हो क्यों रहा है ऐसा. बिकॉज बिहाइंड एवरी लॉजिक देयर सो मेनी एजम्पशंस आर देयर. ये इकोनॉमिक्स की प्रॉब्लम है. बिकॉज if I'm saying this thing will happen, so I'm saying if these things are there, then this thing will happen. Assumptions लगानी पड़ती हैं हर चीज के अंदर. Behind every theory, assumptions. बताइए वेज एंड मीन्स एडवांसेस समझ में आया नहीं आया? जी सर. हम्म 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 कैरी फॉरवर्ड नहीं होगा. नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर. हाँ सर बिल्कुल. अगर आपने 25,000 में से 10 ले लिया है उस क्वार्टर के अंदर, लेट्स सपोज अप्रैल में क्वार्टर स्टार्ट हुआ, तो अप्रैल के 2 हफ्ते में आपने 10,000 बोरो कर लिया, तो बाकी क्वार्टर के लिए आपके 15 बचा. अब तब भी 15 ही बचेगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपने ले लिया रिटर्न कर लिया तो पैसा काउंट नहीं होगा. इट विल बी काउंटेड. क्लास में कितने लोग हैं जो हु इज नॉट कंफर्टेबल इन हिंदी? एनीवन? So are you facing problem? Fine? Okay. In case any problem, you can ask. Okay? Yeah. Any other question? No. Fine. Write down. ये टॉपिक खत्म करना है जल्दी जल्दी. आपकी 9वीं क्लास है इकोनॉमिक्स की, तो काफी कोर्स हो गया होता है यार. तो टाइफाइड ने परेशान कर दिया. लिखिए फटाफट. जब जब मेरी क्लास लगी और कैंसिल हुई है, तो आपकी क्लास किसी और की लगी कैंसिल हुई उस दिन? आपने बहुत एंजॉय किया फिर तो. लिखिए अंडर वेज एंड मीन्स एडवांसेस. लिखिए शॉर्ट फॉर्म में लिखिए WMA. जल्दी जल्दी लिखा जाएगा. अंडर वेज एंड मीन्स एडवांसेस, कॉमा देयर इज एन एग्रीमेंट. देयर इज एन एग्रीमेंट म्यूचुअली between the central government and RBI and state governments and RBI, as to the amount that the government will borrow from RBI during the course of a year, to take care their temporary mismatch, between the inflows and outflows of cash. During the course of a year, to take care the temporary mismatch between the inflows and outflows of cash. So stop. The amount is mutually decided. Decided by the RBI and governments, and the interest rate is generally near to the policy repo rate. ये अमाउंट लिख लिया आपने. हाउ मच अमाउंट इज देयर, सो दैट इज कीप ऑन चेंजिंग. तो आप ध्यान रखिएगा, जो फर्स्ट क्वार्टर का अमाउंट होता है, जो फर्स्ट हाफ का अमाउंट होता है, अप्रैल टू सितंबर, अनाउंस्ड बाय RBI normally in the month of March, and when it comes to the amount of second half, announced by the RBI in September. Okay. Why it is less in second half? Because in the second half, government definitely received the major revenue in terms of taxes. That's why it is comparatively less. Okay. In the next line, you can write the RBI may trigger fresh flotation flotation. Flotation means to arrange the further money. Flotation of market loans when the government of India utilizes 75% of the WMA limit. 75% of the WMA limit. In the next line, the interest rate on WMA is equal to the repo rate, comma, while for overdraft it is 2% above the repo rate. While for overdraft it is 2% above the repo rate. ठीक है जी. अब लिखिए इन द नेक्स्ट लाइन, 4 स्टेट्स, यानी जो राज्य हैं हमारे 4 स्टेट्स, there are 2 types of WMA. Normal and special. नॉर्मल मतलब नॉर्मल, स्पेशल मतलब खास. ओके, फुल स्टॉप. While normal WMA are clean advances. Clean मतलब साफ सुथरा. Clean advances, comma, while special WMA, in bracket you can write now known as special drawing facility. Special drawing facility or SDF. Short form हो गया ना SDF. Very close. Are secured advances. Provided against the pledge of Government of India's securities or investments. Government of India securities or investments. ओके, ठीक है जी. अब लिखिए इंटरेस्ट रेट ऐसे लिख लीजिए, किस किस पे कितनी कितनी इंटरेस्ट रेट होगी स्टेट के केस में लिख लीजिए. यू कैन राइट नॉर्मल WMA, इंटरेस्ट रेट इज रेपो रेट. स्पेशल WMA, नॉर्मल के लिए मैम है आपकी रेपो रेट इक्वल टू जो भी रेपो रेट होगी. स्पेशल के लिए रेपो रेट माइनस 1%, डिस्काउंट है 1% का. ठीक है जी. देन यू कैन राइट ओवरड्राफ्ट में लिखिए ओवरड्राफ्ट अप टू 100% ऑफ द WMA लिमिट. ओवरड्राफ्ट अप टू 100% ऑफ WMA लिमिट, 2% above the repo rate. Okay. Next, overdraft exceeding 100%. Overdraft exceeding 100%. Overdraft exceeding 100% of the WMA limit. Overdraft exceeding 100% of WMA limit इंटरेस्ट रेट लिखिए रेपो रेट प्लस 5% एक्स्ट्रा. होता क्या देखिए, जैसे ही आरबीआई कोई स्टेट गवर्नमेंट जैसे ही 100% से ज्यादा ओवरड्राफ्ट ले लेती है, ठीक है, तो उस केस में आरबीआई उनको इन्फॉर्म करता है कि सर दैट यू हैव ऑलरेडी बोरोड मोर देन द ओवरड्राफ्ट लिमिट 100% ऑफ द डब्ल्यूएमए लिमिट, प्लीज स्टॉप इट. ठीक है, बट अगर वो कहते हैं नहीं सर हमें पैसा चाहिए, तो वो उनको अगले 14 दिन तक प्रोवाइड करता रहता है, 14 डेज तक, एंड दे हैव टू रिटर्न इट विद इन 14 डेज. इफ दे विल नॉट प्रोवाइड विद इन 14 डेज, पेमेंट विल बी स्टॉप. एंड ध्यान रखिए, इट इज ओनली वर्किंग डेज, हॉलीडेज आर एक्सक्लूडेड. ठीक है, ऐसे चलता है. सॉरी, ad hoc tables. T-bills is a different thing that is being issued by the central government for less than 1 year for the purpose of short term borrowing. आपको क्या लगता है गवर्नमेंट को सिर्फ T-bill से काम चल जाता है? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इज अ वेरी बिग business, you can say. They need money from the various areas, and that is one of the way. 50,000 crore is not a big amount for the central government. जिस गवर्नमेंट के सोचिए एक्सपेंडिचर्स आपके 14.28 लाख करोड़ प्लस 5.5, दैट इज ऑलमोस्ट 20 लाख करोड़ एक्सपेंडिचर जो कर रही है, उसके लिए 50,000 इज व्हाट, स्मॉल अमाउंट. ओके, इज इट क्लियर? हेडिंग दीजिए फाइनेंस कमीशन और ब्रेक लीजिए. हाँ जी, वित्त आयोग फाइनेंस कमीशन 280 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ठीक है जी, चलिए 15 मिनट यू हैव, विल स्टार्ट दैट. सर नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, जो लिमिट है वही है. डिपेंड करता है आप किस कंडीशन में लेना चाहते हैं. नहीं, कोई जरूरी नहीं है, कोई जरूरी नहीं है, आपके ऊपर है जैसे लेना चाहें. प्लीज शांति शांति शांति. ओके, नाउ फाइनेंस व्हाट कमीशन. देखिए, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, what is the rationale behind including an institution called Finance Commission in the Indian Constitution under Article 280? क्या वजह थी जिसकी वजह से we included Finance Commission? Like, you know, when you see any federal constitution, what you will find that the state governments are also having power to levy corporate tax, income tax also. Like in USA, states are having power to apply these taxes of their own. So they're not dependent upon center or federal government for the purpose of finances. But in case of India, we have deliberately made states dependent upon whom? Center. Reason behind this. At the time of independence, you know, certain states like state of Bombay, state of Bengal, state of Madras, these states were kind of those states which are prosperous comparatively. I'm not saying completely, comparatively. So if the constitution makers provide them the power to provide taxation of their own, then what happened? These states were able to get money because businesses, factories, individuals were there who were earning. But in case of states like state of Rajasthan, central province, okay, then you're having northeastern states, they were not that much well off to apply tax and to receive money. So in this case, what happened? When they will apply taxes of their own, they will receive money and they will start getting developed fastly. And they were not having that much industries. They were not developed that fastly. So what happened? The inequality between states will increase. Yes or no? The inequality between states will increase, and that leads to further issues. Yes or no? So in this case, just to take care of this problem, we decided, the assembly decided that we will provide a mechanism called finance commission who will provide a fixed amount of money to be given each and every state out of the taxes received by central government. Okay, because if central government will provide the income tax, then they can receive this money from all over India. They will distribute it with whom? With the states. So these states which is kind of poor, they will get money, plus they will also get grants, so that they can take care of the problem of inequality in their area. Yes or no? Because the problem kya thi? What was the problem? That you are having some sort of share in the taxes, and that all states are having. But how to take care of the problem of these states separately? Providing grants extra. Okay? So that's how the Finance Commission was included. So it is a duty of the President of India to provide Finance Commission every 5th year to distribute resources between center and state. So 4 functions have been given to Finance Commission. First of all, you can say distribution of tax revenue between center and state. That is the first function. Okay, देख सकते हैं हम चाहे तो साथ साथ ही distribution of tax revenue between center and states. Second, providing grants in aid to states under Article 275. Yes or no? Under Article 275, grants will be given by center to states, those states who require it. Third, supplementing state government revenue for panchayat and municipalities. So central government is also providing money to state government so that the panchayat and municipality can work in a proper manner. Yes or no? And fourth one, any other function. So if you want to extend certain other function, they can also do that. For example, in case of 14th Finance Commission headed by Y.V. Reddy, they were provided extra functions like they need to provide recommendation about the GST. They need to provide recommendation about the center-state relation. They need to provide recommendation about tax to GDP ratio, how to increase the GDP at the state level and central level. They also need to provide recommendation about what? How to use green technologies in the PSUs. So certain other work has been given to whom? To the Finance Commission. 4 functions: distribution of tax revenue between center and state, grants in aid to states under Article 275, supplementing state government revenue for panchayat and municipalities, and any other function. 4 functions. So you know, 2 things are being given to states. One is called, you can say, autonomous grants. That money can be utilized by the states in whatever manner they want to use it. There is no foundation on the part of central government. And the second thing that has been given by center to state, that is called as grant in aid under Article 275, that always come with terms and conditions. So they have to utilize it as per the directions given by center. Okay. So as per the recommendation of 14th Finance Commission, if central government is earning 100 rupees as a tax that required to be shared with state, 42% will be given to whom? To all the states. Okay, so you can say this 42% has to be shared with all the states of India. So when you provide this, it is known as what? Vertical devolution of fund. Okay, that this money has to be straight away given to all the states. Okay, and how this 42% will be distributed between states, that will be known as horizontal devolution of fund. Okay, so 42 in total will be known as what? Vertical devolution. How this 42 will be distributed will be known as horizontal devolution of fund. Okay. So 14th Finance Commission used a kind of criteria for the purpose of distributing this money. 5 things they have taken into account. The very first one is called population. Okay, as per which census? 1971, not the latest one. Why? Because 1971 census onwards, the North Indian states are very good in terms of increasing population. Okay, so the population increase is very, very comparatively high to the South Indian states. So if you take 2011 census as a benchmark, then certainly South Indian states will lose. So you are taking 1971 census for population purpose, and the weightage is 17.5%. Second is demographic change, 10% weightage. Now in case of demographic means what? Population. How much changes you are having between 1971 to 2011 census. So those states who increased population more, they will be provided more money. Okay, so it's not like we are altogether ignoring them, but we are saying less weightage will be there. So whosoever state is there who is increasing more population, and who is greatest in terms of increasing population? UP. यूपी में है दम क्योंकि वहां क्राइम है कम. ठीक है. So demographic change is having a weightage of 10%. Population of 71 and 11 census. So that you need to see the changes over there. Third thing is called income distance. Highest weightage 50%. Now income distance means what? See, you need to see, please बात मत कीजिए, you need to see which state is having highest per capita income at state level. And what is this per capita income? State GDP divided by population. Number one is who? Goa. A beautiful place. You should go there for holidays. Second is what? Sikkim. Again, very good place. Very clean. Only state of India completely litter free and spit free zone. Okay. And very good law and order condition also. The third state, Haryana. A very low sex ratio. Though people are educated, but they're killing their girl child. Okay. So Haryana and Punjab are the two states you can say which is having a very high per capita income. But in terms of education and all, they're also good. But there are certain issues are there faced by this state. So Haryana is the third state which is having the third highest per capita income in India. So you cannot take Goa and Sikkim as a benchmark because these are small states. But Haryana is comparatively a big state, good amount of population. So we are taking Haryana as a benchmark for taking care of the income distance. Okay. Suppose at fourth number is Punjab. It's not Punjab, I'm telling you. I'm not able to recall the name of the state at the fourth number. But taking example, let's suppose Punjab is at fourth number. Okay. So in this case, you need to see what is the difference or distance between the per capita income of Haryana with respect to Punjab. So you can say a state which is being kind of very poor, okay, having the lowest per capita income, they will have the maximum distance with Haryana and they will receive the maximum money from central government because they are poor state. Now, if you think in this manner, if Haryana is benchmark, so if you deduct Haryana from Haryana income, they will face zero. They will get nothing. ये तो unjustified है. Same in case of Sikkim and Goa. उनका तो minus में आ जाएगा. उनको तो और ले लेना चाहिए फिर. Yes or no? So you will not do these things like that. What you will do? जो distance, whatever distance you are getting between Punjab and Haryana, in this example, you will use the same distance for Haryana, Sikkim, and Goa. Suppose difference is 200 rupees. So we'll take 200 for Haryana, 200 for Sikkim, 200 for Goa. So that they will also be able to get certain money. ऐसा ना हो कि you did something well and you are being penalized. It should not be like this. So income distance is the third parameter that will be taken into account for the purpose of providing money. Clear or not? Clear hai? The fourth thing that you are having here is basically area of a state. Area is having a weightage of 15%. Bigger the state, more money you will get. Like UP, Andhra Pradesh. Now Andhra Pradesh is comparatively smaller. After Telangana, like Maharashtra, okay. These states, Rajasthan will get more money. And at the fifth number, the next is the new in the list, forest cover, 7.5% weightage. So forest cover, that means if a state is having large forest cover, they will get more money. Why forest cover included? Because to take care a goal of sustainable development. A state with having large forest cover will get more money. A state with low forest cover will get less money with respect to their area. So in this case, certain states like UP, Bihar, Haryana, Punjab lost certain revenue because these are the 4 states where you're cutting forest very fastly. सबसे तेजी से forest in 4 states में कट रहे हैं. Okay. So when this point was included, these states started shouting, "Sir, don't include forest cover." But we said, no, we will include it because we need to take care our national forest policy. What? 1/3 of entire India's area should be under the forest cover. Which year? 1988 National Forest Policy. Implemented by whom? You are having what kind of service? Indian Forest Service. Okay, who is taking care of all these activities? So having these 5 parameters into account, you are distributing this 42. That is known as what? Horizontal devolution of fund. As per these indicators, UP is number 1 in terms of getting highest money. They are getting around 17.95 rupees out of every 100 rupees shared by center with state. As per 13 Finance Commission report, they were getting more than 18. So forest cover आने की वजह से उनका शेयर घटा है. That's why they were shouting. Getting my point or not? So this is how. So you have the recommendation of Finance Commission of printed handout. तभी मैं आपसे कह रहा हूँ please handout पढ़ो जरूर. यहाँ पे मैं आपको ये चीजें सारी समझा दूंगा. Now as soon as you will read that handout, it will be more clear to you. Okay. So this is how you're distributing money. Now, in case of 13th Finance Commission, this 42 was 32%. Okay. So in case of this 32%, point was, it was the first time in the history of India after independence that any finance commission gave a jump of 10% in terms of autonomous grants, because this 42% will be utilized by the states as per their own wishes. No interference on the part of center. But the grants that has been given by center to states always come with terms and conditions that you have to utilize as per their wishes. So what 14th Finance Commission did, they simply changed the equation. In what sense? Earlier you were getting less money in the autonomous grants, but you are getting more money by way of grants. Now we have done what? We are providing more money by way of autonomous grants, and we are providing less money in terms of other grants. Okay. And moreover, why we did this? Because every state is having a different issues. Earlier, central government was sponsoring around 38 schemes under which grants were given to states. Now the number of schemes reduced to only 8. MG Narega, Bharat Nirman and the other scheme. So only in these schemes, the center is assisting state for the implementation of these. Earlier, so many schemes were there. They were keep on providing money. Why it is being done? Like when Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he was demanding ki, sir, provide us more money in the autonomous grant. Because my state, I know the problem faced by my area. How you will be able to decide the problem faced by my state while you're sitting in Delhi? Delhi में बैठे बैठे आपको कैसे पता लगेगा मेरी स्टेट में क्या इशू है क्या नहीं है? So sir, please provide us more money. So as soon as he came into power, he increased the grants by 10% by giving or having the discussion with the Finance Commission. कि सर ज़्यादा पैसा provide कीजिए. Because suppose if you're asking Kerala state, कि sir spend money in Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, वो क्या कहेंगे? Sir, I'm already having 95% more than that literacy rate. Why should I need money in the Bharat in the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan? But same thing if you ask in case of Bihar, they will say, sir, yes, I need more money for this particular thing because I'm having a lot of illiteracy in my state. So Kerala is saying, sir, provide me money more as an autonomous thing so that I can take care of my other issues. Like you can say disaster management, coastal management program and the other, because I need money for that thing. So that's why, the equation has been changed. It's not that the central government is giving more money to states with 42%. It's just that they changed the way. Earlier, you're provided more money in case of grants, less money in terms of autonomous grants. Now you're having what? More money by way of autonomous, less money by way of these kind of grants. Okay? So that is basically done by Finance Commission. So that is the rationale behind Finance Commission in the Constitution. Work, 14 Finance Commission, why they increased from 30 to 42%, reason behind that. Now you have any question, you can ask. Sorry? UTs, sir, वो तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एडमिनिस्टर करती है. सर डिफरेंट अरेंजमेंट्स आर देयर ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ सेंटर विद स्टेट. उनके अरेंजमेंट्स अलग हैं, कैसे उनको पैसा दिया जाता है. यू नीड टू रीड फॉर दैट 69th अमेंडमेंट एक्ट. क्वेश्चन आया आपका अभी सेकंड पेपर में. आई थिंक दिस टाइम सेकंड पेपर द इजीएस्ट वन, और आई थिंक वो सबसे टफ लगा है लोगों को इस बार, बिकॉज इट इज ऑल पॉलिटी. कोर पॉलिटी पूछ लिया आपसे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पूछ लिया. इकोनॉमिक्स आपका जो है वो पूरा अप्लाइड है, स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड कुछ भी नहीं है. सो यू नीड टू हैव अ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑन ईच एंड एवरीथिंग. ओके, जैसे डेमोग्राफिक चेंज के ऊपर आपसे पूछा है, WTO के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आया आपका सेकंड पेपर के अंदर. इट्स ऑल स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन. दे डिडंट आस्क अबाउट द नैरोबी, बट दे आस्क्ड द प्रॉब्लम्स फेस्ड सिंस द दोहा राउंड ऑफ नेगोशिएशन. सो यू नीड टू हैव नॉलेज अबाउट एवरीथिंग सिंस दोहा टिल डेट. टफ नहीं है. आई डिस्कस दिस थिंग इन क्लास. पॉइंट इज किस पे आप फोकस ज्यादा करते हैं. दैट इज अ थिंग. ओके, सो दैट इज अबाउट फाइनेंस कमीशन. पूछिए कोई डाउट है इसके अंदर, एनी क्वेश्चन इन दिस. Because from my side, this topic is over. Fiscal policy is over. Tomorrow when we meet, we'll do what? Question है तो पूछ लीजिए. Do not ask after the class, because मुझे क्लास खत्म करते ही भागना है. कुछ बहुत जरूरी काम है मुझे, इसलिए क्वेश्चन है तो पुट अप कीजिए जल्दी. I still have 10 minutes. Yeah. Sorry. So for this you need to see the handout. Like Bharat Nirman is there, MJ Nareka is there, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan I think is also there. वो सब कुछ स्पेसिफिक चीजें दैट यू नीड टू सी इन द स्कीम, कि उनका प्रॉपर क्राइटेरिया क्या है पैसा प्रोवाइड करने का. प्लीज बात मत कीजिए, क्वेश्चन पूछने को बोला है. जी सर, प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज. यस, हाँ जी, इसलिए बढ़ा है. अब जैसे मान लीजिए गुजरात में वो बोलते हैं कि सर आई डोंट नीड एनी मनी फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन. Let's suppose the unemployment rate is very less there. So they said, sir, provide me more money for the other thing, like industrial development and the other issue. Sir, वही तो भी बोला था मैंने स्टार्टिंग में कि 14th Finance Commission provided the work to provide recommendation about GST. ठीक है, then green technologies in the PSUs. Then you can say the how to increase tax to GDP ratio. How to reduce deficit at a central and state level. These kind of things were extra provided to them. पता नहीं आप लोगों के क्वेश्चन क्यों नहीं होते हैं यार. Very less question, only 1 or 2 people are generally asking question. मैं सुबह मॉर्निंग बैच लेके आता हूँ 9 to 1 वाला, उसमें तो बैंड बजाए रखते हैं क्वेश्चन पूछ पूछ के वो लोग. इतने क्वेश्चंस आते हैं उनके. आज तो वो भी शांत थे, पता नहीं क्यों. मंगलवार है तो क्या हनुमान जी ने मना किया कि सही है मंगलवार है? बोलिए, नहीं पूछना. क्लास छोड़े फिर. हाँ, क्लास छोड़नी जा जल्दी है. सर, इनकम डिस्टेंस का मतलब है स्टेट जो जीडीपी है हाईएस्ट, उसको बेंचमार्क लेके बाकी स्टेट्स को देखना है वो कितनी दूरी पे है उससे, वो कितने गरीब हैं. जो ज्यादा डिस्टेंस पे उसे ज्यादा पैसा मिलेगा, ये मतलब है बस. सर 42 को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कैसे करेंगे, वो इन पैरामीटर्स पे करेंगे. इनको देखेंगे, देखने के बाद डिसाइड करेंगे किसको कितना कितना पैसा मिल सकता है. ये है. सो व्हेन यू प्रोवाइड 42% स्टेट अवे, नोन एज वर्टिकल, हाउ टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट दिस? हॉरिजॉन्टल. प्लीज यार बात मत करो. 5 मिनट के बाद खूब बात कीजिएगा, कोई इशू नहीं है, क्लास छूट जाएगी, पर अभी शांत रहो. नहीं सर, क्यों डिसाइड करेगा? पैसा उनको थोड़ी मिल रहा है. The money is being received by central government. They will distribute with the state, and that is recommended by Finance Commission. And moreover, do remember, the recommendation of Finance Commission is not binding on central government, but always it is accepted, because recommendation cannot be just made in 1 or 2 days. Like in case of 14th Finance Commission, the committee was constituted on January 14, and they came with the recommendation in 15 December. 2 साल लगे. They basically held discussion with the central government, each ministry, department, state government, every government. They are considering their demand. Like one of the demand that was made by the states at that time was, he said, do share the amount of cess and surcharge with us. But Finance Commission ने बोला सर नहीं मिलेगा. They declined. So every state, तो जब आप recommendation देखेंगे 14th Finance Commission की, तो उनकी report में आपको क्या मिलेगा? That they are providing things like that. They are providing the points made by the state, points raised by center, points provided by Finance Commission. So the points provided by Finance Commission after consultation with center and state, that you can say is a recommendation. So when you see the report, you have this state said this thing, this state said this thing, this central government said this thing. Then after that, in a colored area, you will get recommendation. Yeah, after having consultation, we reach to this conclusion. That is our recommendation. Yes, sir. सॉरी सर, पर कैपिटा इनकम की रैंकिंग है ना, जो स्टेट सबसे अमीर है वो नंबर 1 पे है. सिंपल. जीडीपी लेस है, पॉपुलेशन भी लेस है, बट है क्या? जीडीपी आपका कंपैरेटिवली पॉपुलेशन के इतना ज्यादा है कि आपकी पर कैपिटा इनकम नंबर 1 पे आ रही है. इफ यू गो टू गोवा, यू विल हार्डली सी पॉवर्टी. 5% पीपल आर लिविंग बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन. एवरीवन इज एंजॉयिंग पेनी ओवर देयर. यस और नो? सो दे आर गेटिंग लॉट ऑफ मनी बाय वे ऑफ दिस टूरिज्म एंड द अदर थिंग. सर वो पॉलिटी का पार्ट है. आई वॉन्ट डिस्कस दिस थिंग. हाउ द स्पेशल स्टेटस बीन गिवन, व्हाट इज द पॉइंट्स बिहाइंड दैट एंड द अदर थिंग. कुछ चीजें होती हैं दैट आई कैन टच बिकॉज आई हैव टू टच, तो वो मैं टच करता हूँ पॉलिटी का. अदरवाइज क्लियर डायरेक्शन फॉर मी, नो पॉलिटी विल बी टच. जी सर. सर वही तो मैंने आपसे कहा, अगर यहीं पे नंबर 1 पे मान लीजिए यूपी होता, हाईएस्ट पर कैपिटा इनकम में, हर बार 5 साल में चेंज होगा ये. 13 फाइनेंस कमीशन में भी यही था, क्योंकि ये स्टेट सबसे ज्यादा पर कैपिटा इनकम है इनकी, और 3rd पे हरियाणा ही चल रहा है. ओके, तो आप मान सकते हैं, मान लीजिए अगले 5 साल में मिरेकल हो गया यूपी में कुछ, ओके, और यूपी बन गया नंबर 1. ठीक है, और यूपी इज हैविंग द पर कैपिटा इनकम हाईएस्ट. यू विल टेक यूपी एज अ बेंचमार्क एट नंबर 1 बिकॉज यूपी इज अ वेरी लार्ज स्टेट. 20 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन बसती है वहां पे, बताइए, छोटी मोटी बात थोड़ी है. ठीक है, टुमारो व्हेन वी मीट विल डू इन्फ्लेशन. ओके, थैंक यू.